The Appalachian woods have a lot of secrets, but today people aren't keeping them, and we're talking about some very creepy stories that happened in Appalachia. Welcome back to Sleepover Scaries, and today I have some Reddit stories for you guys. I'll make a shorter story from a long one involving sensitive auras. But once I was with a girl on Big Frog Mountain at dusk, miles away from anyone. We decided to walk up a trail when right behind the car I stepped in a mud puddle with odd-looking light brownish water. Pointed out the unusual color to her when we started walking. Not far up the trail, she started getting scared and we went back to the car. In the car, we started making out while lying in the front seat, and she had her hand draped out the window. That's an interesting choice, but we're moving on. I felt an odd sensation in my back. It had happened before when people were behind me, and I told her to pull her hand in the car, which she did. A few minutes later, I felt the sensation in my back again, but it felt more urgent. I rolled her window up, but being a horny ass continued the makeout session. A few minutes later, it felt like someone had stuck a live wire in my back. I sat up, started the car, and headed back down the mountain. She was obviously confused and asked me what was wrong. I replied that I didn't know, but something was wrong somewhere. We went back to my parents' house and was assured by them the family was okay. Having calmed down some, we ate a little dinner and then started to leave. After I opened the car door for her, I walked around to the back of the car. While walking, I glanced at the back of the car and saw handprints, the same color of the mysterious mud puddle behind the car. The last one was over the back window, and it was obvious someone was watching us while inching their way to the front driver's side window. When I saw the handprints, it was like being hit with a lightning bolt, and I knew what had happened. Cold chills ran all over me. I got her out of the car, and as soon as she saw the prints, she knew too. The story is the absolute truth, so help me, and I will never forget it. This is kind of interesting because one time I may or may not have been doing a similar situation in a car in the woods, and I can't believe I'm admitting that. Anyways, all of a sudden the car started shaking really violently, but it was completely dark out and there was no car that had pulled up, and we couldn't see out the windows to see who was doing it. But like, who walks around in the woods in the dark and just decides to like shake your car? I don't know. It could have been like a prank, but it was weird and I did not like it. Time for our next story. So this is the creepiest thing that ever happened to me. I recently purchased a small farm in Southwest Virginia, Springfield to be exact. There's a Springfield where I'm from. It's like the most common name. A little backstory on me. I'm from the area, went to a local high school, spent 5 years in the army, and deployed to Afghanistan. I've been married for almost 10 years. Anyways, my farm is in a small community between Tazewell and Bluefield, Virginia on 460. Okay, let's not get too specific here. My land is about 20 acres of forest connected to a small mountain, with the surrounding land being hundreds, possibly thousands of acres of heavily forested wilderness and small areas for cattle to graze. It's directly at the base of East River Mountain and the Jefferson National Forest, separated by the highway and maybe one 20 to 30 acre property. Anyways, since I moved into this place, I got this odd feeling that something was watching me when I would go outside at night, but just shrugged it off as nothing and kept doing my thing. About a week and a half ago, I'm outside at 4:30 a.m. getting ready for the day. Ooh, that's so early. When I started to hear what sounds like some speaking, but just outside of range where I would be able to understand what was being said. Naturally, I assume someone is trespassing, so I grab my AR-15 and walk into the tree line to see if I can locate them. Keep in mind, it's still pitch black outside. I see the top of the mountain, a 500 to 600 foot tall hill. That's pretty tall. A light that I assume is the headlight or flashlight of said trespassers. I immediately shine my light at them and yell at them that they are on posted property. The light continues to move about the woods like whoever controlled it didn't hear me or see my light. So I grab my dog and start to head to them up the hillside. The forest is pretty dense and it's pitch black. So I was making slow progress. Well, when I get within, let's say, 150 feet of the light, it cuts off. I immediately yell, "This is private property," while slowly walking to where I saw the light turn off. I walk maybe another 100 yards, scanning the trees with my headlamp, and I lock on to two big-ass green glowing eyes and immediately freeze. Me and these eyes are locked in on one another, and I notice, however I move, this thing mimics it perfectly. It mimics my movements in real time with absolutely zero lag. It's like a mirror. Woo. I move my head to the left, so does it perfectly. This trips me out, and I say out loud, "Is that a mirror in the woods?" Wait, I didn't read this first. I didn't know it said that. "Is that a mirror in the woods?" completely perplexed at how it mimics my movements. And this thing shakes its head no. I immediately almost piss on myself and get this overwhelming sense of dread that washes over me. I immediately put my AR-15, okay, chill, to my shoulder and say out loud, if you come in my direction 1 inch, I'ma smoke you. This thing immediately drops down behind brush and I lose sight of it. I immediately rack my AR-15 and it pops back up. I say out loud, I'ma back down the hill and you do whatever you were doing. This thing looks at me for another 10 seconds or so, then out of nowhere, bolts to the right and to my left over the hill in what sounded like an attempt to flank me. What's that mean? I immediately began backing down the hill, fast, fighting the urge to turn my back to where it was and sprint down the hill. Needless to say, I make it home, go inside, and lock my door, absolutely shocked at what just happened. The crazy part is, my dog never once acknowledged that this thing was there. It was like my dog couldn't detect it at all. This thing looked like a 7-foot tall, skin and bones human with a honey spine that ran on all fours. Why does it sound like you're complimenting it? Maybe a sick bear, a sick person, literally nothing makes sense. Luckily, I got a picture of it. In the picture, you can only see the glowing eyes. The very next day, I go out about 12 a.m. and see a UFO in the driveway. I also got a picture of that. Since then, nothing has happened. For those that will say I'm lying, all I have to say is believe what you want. I could care less. This really happened, and it changed the way I look at the world. I'll include the photos. Where? Okay, at the end, it kind of got to where maybe I don't believe because you have photos, but you didn't mention that in the story and a UFO in the front yard. I don't know how I feel, but it was a fun read. If you have any creepy Appalachian stories, please tell me. I want to know and let me know if I can share them. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.